the sun's atmosphere and is also harmful to our eyes. So we're keeping our solar filter right up until the last moment. So there might be a slight interruption to this broadcast because we've got to whip the filter off so that you can see the eclipse properly. We're all going to take our eclipse glasses off once that's happened because we won't see the full glory. So don't think there's anything wrong with your phone or your TV set if there's a brief interruption, but that's us changing from the filter to seeing the full splendour of the eclipse. Just over 2 minutes now. All the eclipse chasers are quietening down, they're focusing. Many of them have experienced this moment so many times. For others, it's just the very first time. They want to savour it. What you might hear are some whoops in the background, but also there are some people that appreciate it through silence and quiet awe and admiration. On the ground it is so noticeably dark. You can tell that it's very close, just over a minute away. That smile is getting thinner and thinner.
Mira, mira cómo se nota, ¿eh?
Things are moving very quickly on the ground. It's getting suddenly very cold and very dark. Less than 30 seconds to go. Watch for the flash, watch for the diamond ring, and watch for the shimmering corona. A shimmering pearl hanging in the night sky. You may have heard cheers around me. I have to say this is one of the most spectacular eclipses I've seen, low on the horizon. And you can see quite clearly the red eruptions. These are huge nuclear reactions on the face of the sun. You normally don't see them. They're many times the size of the Earth. And the stars are coming out. The planets are visible. And all of a sudden, this is an eerie feeling. Oh, the diamond ring effect, the eclipse is about to end.
Qué pasada. ¿Ha sido? Qué pasada.
Oh my goodness. I have literally got goosebumps. It's not just from the cold, it's about the spectacle that I've just witnessed. I've seen it a few times before, but it never gets old. This reminds us of what it is to be human, that we are a small planet in a vast cosmos, and we're seeing the sun in its beautiful hidden form. Amazing.
Talab, how extraordinarily lucky you are to be standing there. We're watching it on screens here at Greenwich at the Royal Observatory, but what a sight you have just witnessed. And what was the reaction from people around you? We could hear some of them cheering.
Well, they were cheering, but I was just dumbstruck. It's unusual for me. I'm a real chatterbox usually. But just seeing this awesome sight, I've seen it before, and as I'm speaking, it's still sinking in. I have to say, Sophie, I'm feeling a little bit spaced out by the experience. We're seeing things that shouldn't happen. Daylight turned to nighttime, entering a dreamlike world. And so I think many of the people here feel the same thing. And one of the amazing things that you don't get seeing it on the television is that this is a shared experience among the hundreds of people here. But there'll be thousands that will see it, that will have seen it in Iceland, that will have been moved emotionally. There are people who've told me that they've cried at previous eclipses. I'm sure many of them have. These are tears of awe and delight and emotion. I'm slightly welling up myself, if I'm honest. I'm just kind of slightly blown over by what I've just seen.
Well, even here in London, and we only had just over 90%, I think 92, 93% of the eclipse, but it was the change in light, and it was so sudden right at the end, and then the sort of gasps from the crowd here and the cheers as the sun, we reached maximum coverage. We still had quite a lot of sunlight compared to you, but I mean, still now we have this incredible sort of slaty grey light, and the birds, we felt the birds, I could hear the birds reacting as we got maximum coverage. Did you have similar things there? Did you notice what the wildlife was doing?
Well, there isn't much wildlife in this area. We chose it deliberately because it's so flat. The sun is now setting. It's an eclipse that's low on the horizon. So there wasn't that effect, but there was this change in the light that got, as happened in the UK, it got darker and darker, and then it turned into an eerie colour that is never normal during a sunset. It's not a twilight light, it's a light that you never see before. And then it's what happens up at the sun, this kind of flash, this diamond ring, and this shimmering atmosphere that was all around the sun. And I don't know if you were able to make out, but there were clear red prominences, those nuclear reactions that are just so powerful. It just shows us how raging our sun is. We see a side of the sun that we don't normally see before. It's this disk that gives us light. It comes up every day, and we take it for granted apart from moments like this where we see what an incredible star it truly is. And of course, this is an incredible cosmic coincidence because the moon is just the right size and just the right distance to block out only the bright disk of the sun. If it was bigger, then we wouldn't see that lovely atmosphere and those prominences. If it was smaller, even a tiny amount of light would peep through and we wouldn't see that either. So this is an incredible blessing that will only go on for a relatively short period of time for humanity. So, there will be more. There will be another one next year. You can see why people travel from eclipse to eclipse rather than wait till 2090 in the UK. I too suspect I won't be around for that. But if you can, try and see it for yourself.
Yes, I said that earlier. I was wondering if I might be, but I definitely won't be. But you never know. The beauty of science,
you never
who knows? But wishful thinking. But I mean, I was really struck actually because obviously you cover science all the time here on the BBC, and for you to say somebody who does cover science and understands it so well, but it is just very humbling, isn't it? As a human being, it really puts you in your place.
It is a lot about the science. I mean, one of the greatest things is that it interests people in the science. There are people, whatever your age, you kind of see a side of the sun that you never see before. You see that it has an atmosphere. You see that there are nuclear explosions going on. And maybe younger children might decide to study science. But as we've seen, it's so much more than the science. This is nature. This is the universe. And, sometimes... this is why there was so much interest in the moon programme, that we're reminded that there is something bigger out there, that we're taken away from our day-to-day troubles, the troubles of the world, and we see that there is something magnificent that surrounds us. And you don't think these thoughts. It works at a very emotional level, a very dreamlike level, and to have experienced something like that, as I've said before, once you've seen it, you're not quite the same person again. So it's not just about the science, it's about humanity, it's about the cosmos and our place in it.
And Pala, Spain's quite lucky, isn't it? Because they actually get another total eclipse this time next year. I think it's the 2nd of August next year, although much further south, in Cadiz, I think it is. And then that will go down to Morocco and Luxor, which will be quite extraordinary because I think they have 6 minutes of totality there. That will be an amazing experience. There are a lot of people, aren't there, who are out there already eclipse hunting.
Well, I wish I could say eclipses are like buses. You don't have one for 121 years and then 2 come along 1 year apart. But the place to see the next eclipse, do go to Spain. It would be lovely to see it there. But in Egypt, it'll be a full 6 minutes of totality. So the trick to that is book early, get your eclipse glasses early, get your accommodation early. Sort everything out. It's in the school summer holidays, so it's not too late to set it up and see it for yourself, because you've seen the impact it's had on me and the people here. And as you've said, there are a minimum of 14,000 people in Burgos alone. Those are the official eclipse places. There are many more that have come under their own steam. There are probably, the number of people that have witnessed it in some form or another, partial or total, will be in their millions, and you can see exactly why people become addicted to eclipses.
Totally can. I'm going to be holding on to my eclipse glasses, that is for sure. Palab, do stay with us, but thank you for now, because I'm going to talk to Bobby Manu, who is the chair of the Flamsteed Astronomy Society. Half your members are actually where Palab are, aren't they, tonight?
Yes, I should say hello to half of my committee over in Spain.
Now, I was very lucky to be watching that with you, because, this was the best partial eclipse you've ever seen.
Yes.
You've not seen a total eclipse. And when that happened, you just went, the ring of fire. It was so dramatic, wasn't it?
It's always dramatic every time I see this, and seeing it live from Spain on your cameras, I felt chills across, right? It's such a spectacular thing to see when the disk of the moon completely covers the disk of the sun and exposes that corona, what we call the ring of fire. And what's interesting is that in a 1919 expedition by Sir Arthur Eddington, a total eclipse was actually used to prove Einstein's theories of general relativity.
Wow.
And that just brings the relevance of an event such as a total eclipse into understanding the theoretical aspects of science. It's fantastic.
It is, and I know you're fascinated as well by what people made of it all before they understood the science, thousands of years ago.
Yes, and it's interesting to go back, because this links us back to our ancient thoughts and our ancient civilizations. If we look at earlier recordings from Mesopotamia, they had great relevance, and they held the sun and their sun gods in high esteem. And whenever an event like this happened, they directly related this to their king. And they would go as far as to interpret an event like this as a bad omen on their king. And what they would do is take the king away, hide him away in a dark room, take a peasant, put him on the throne, dress him up in all regal wear to pretend to be the king during the solar eclipse, so that whatever bad omen was coming towards the king, it would go onto a peasant, and the king would actually be safe.
Amazing. I mean, what must people have thought all those years ago for the sun just suddenly to be blocked out like that?
Yes, exactly, and there are religious implications. If we go on to the other side of the world with the Incas in Central America, Inti was the name of the sun god, and they built pillars called Intihuatana all over in temples across South America, Machu Picchu being one of these examples, where there's this great pillar called Intihuatana, which is a seat for the sun during summer solstice. And when a solar eclipse occurs, they saw this as a sign that Inti was unhappy with two groups of people, the leaders and the spiritual leaders. So the political leaders and the spiritual leaders, and they would launch an attack that, Inti is unhappy with these guys, let's change them. So it's and then if we look at the Far East and ancient China, an eclipse would be equated to a celestial dragon trying to eat the sun, and they would beat a lot of drums to chase away the dragon to have the sun re-emerge. And one of the another interesting example was from Vedic India, where this demon Rahu was trying to steal this nectar of immortality from the gods. And just as he was about to steal it, his lips touched this nectar of immortality, and he was beheaded, and his head went up into the heavens. But because he touched the nectar of immortality, he didn't die. And so his head chases after the sun, and he eats the sun, and because he was beheaded, the sun actually emerges back into his neck. So visually, it gives that interpretation of actually what they were seeing from a solar eclipse.
So that's what it it was like almost thousands of years ago, but still, I mean, you heard Pallab Ghosh, our science correspondent, his reaction to it. I mean, he was really sort of tingling. He was lost for words almost, he said,
yes.
Because it is just such an extraordinary thing still to witness, even though we understand the science now.
Exactly, and some people still hang on to some traditions, like that episode with Rahu. Many temples are closed because they interpret this as negative energies. And people still practice some of the omens and the traditions which come about from stories like these. So we have a mixture today of traditions and the science.
We really do. And just one final question to you, because this was the best one you have ever seen. I mean,
yes.
You clearly know so much about it, but the sun now is, the eclipse is not far from over, but it's on the way over. What was it like for you to see it?
It was spectacular. I love the energy that we have experienced here. For the first time, I have actually experienced the drop in intensity and the drop in temperature, and that was exhilarating.
And the birds.
And the birds, because as expected, I think the birds are a little bit confused. We're not hearing them as we were before the eclipse. All of this experience is just reinforces the excitement for occasions such as this, the excitement to continue with astronomy, to continue to explore, and to continue to give this information and give this feeling and excitement to as many people as possible.
Well, I think
it's something that you can share.
You've definitely done that this evening, Bobby. Thank you so much for talking to us and talking us through it all. And I hope your next eclipse you see is a total one.
I certainly hope so as well. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's go back to Spain now, because we can still see those extraordinary scenes, images of the sun on your screen. And Pallab is there now. Pallab.
Sophie, it was an experience that hundreds of people here shared. A couple of them have come over from England, Natalia and Emma. Natalia, Emma, you've seen one before, haven't you?
Yes, I've seen one before. Yes, in Texas, in 2024.
Yes. This is your first one.
Yeah, that was my first one, and I didn't really know what to expect, but it was absolutely incredible. It took my breath away. It was amazing.
Tell me what you felt. What did you experience emotionally when you saw it?
It was surreal. It just feels like you're in a movie. Everything stands still, like it was really quiet, and it just felt like, I don't know, something out of body experience.
How would you describe it?
It really took my breath away. You feel emotional as well. It just doesn't feel real at all. And people around us were all just being like in awe. We had someone singing behind us as well, brought to singing because of what we were seeing in front of us. So it's definitely something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
2 people were crying around us. So Kelly was next to me crying, and it was special.
It was so special.
And what did you notice? What would be your abiding memory? Or was it just the whole thing?
The darkness I remembered, and also I just got a chill over me as well, because obviously, you're not got the sun there. So it's just a sense of stillness, and also you could hear birds too, which was amazing. I think it was, just all around us, just an amazing experience.
And how about you? What are the things that you noticed the most?
I think just how peaceful everyone went. Everyone went from laughing and joking, and then suddenly it was like this calmness that, incredible.
I don't know if it's the same for you, but I'm still processing it. I mean, like yourself, I've seen a few, but it's, having to, broadcast and share to other people. But I'm just feeling a little bit spaced out. Are you?
Absolutely. Texas was so different when I was there, and I thought that was pretty special. But this has just left us feeling, we all just sat very quietly when you came over and asked us how we felt. But amazing.
Well, sorry to have interrupted your meditation.
No problem.
But Emma, what are some of the things that you feel you noticed emotionally? What was happening in your head, and are you still processing it all?
Yeah, I feel like a little bit out of breath, to be honest, and I think for me it's really special because we're in a world now that's so online as ever, and I think this was just such a nice reminder and way to just connect with nature and remember that the world's a lot bigger than we think it is. So I
was just explaining to our presenter Sophie that it's moments like this that take us away from our day-to-day experience and make us feel that we're part of something bigger and more important. Do those thoughts occur to you?
Absolutely. I think today here we're amongst like British people who've flown over, but also the local Spanish people are sat next to us, and it did feel like there was no divide, and it sounds surreal to say that something can affect you that much, but you kind of got to be here to feel it.
And a lot of these people have seen several eclipses. There's one gentleman for whom it's the 22nd eclipse, believe it or not. Do you think that you'll go to more? Will you go to more than this one?
Definitely. When I was doing that, I was just thinking that I think that everyone in their life needs to see a total solar eclipse, because it did, it's just such an amazing experience. So I definitely think I'd be keen to go to other ones. I know Australia and New Zealand are coming up soon, so might have to make the trip home for that.
Well, there's Spain, southern Spain next year, which goes to Egypt, so you can go to that one. But how about you, Emma? This has been number 2.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a number 3, 4 and 5?
I know. Am I going to turn into one of those people that centre their holidays around finding the next solar eclipse? But this one was incredible, and timing worked out brilliantly. And next year maybe Egypt or Morocco.
No, everyone thinks that they're a bit sad, but once you've experienced it, you become, as you say, one of those people. Sophie, so this has been an incredible experience for many of the people here. And now, back to you.
I've already got my eye on Egypt next year, Paula, but I witnessed a total eclipse once here in the UK in 1999, but it was cloudy. I would love to go to Luxor and see a total eclipse, 6 minutes of it next August. Well, here with me at the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, we are in the Astronomer's Garden, which is a little less busy than it was an hour ago. But Liz Avery, who's head of astronomy here at the Royal Observatory, joins me now. And it's been wonderful, hasn't it? It really has.
Yeah, it's been so special. It was really lovely to see so many people so excited about it as well. The lawns at the front of the park were just full of people, and they were so excited and cheering and clapping. And
we could hear it. We could hear all the cheers coming from
it was
down
so
there.
lovely. It was so lovely.
What is it, do you think? Why does it touch people in the way it does?
Well, do you know, I think it might... Well, I think it's because it makes you remember that we're part of something bigger.
much
bigger, right? And I think it gives you a really hefty reminder of how powerful the sun is as well. And I mean, you know, it's the boss of our solar system, like the big boss of the solar system. So it's kind of interesting to see what it does. But it's also, it's just, there's something really magic about seeing the clockwork nature of how things move in our solar system played out in front of your eyes as well. I think that's such a rarity, super special.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just the change in light that we witnessed
Yeah.
was something else. I've only ever seen it, well, I've never seen that, what we just saw here, because we had clear skies.
Yeah.
Like me, you were in Falmouth, you were in Cornwall, weren't you, in 1999?
Yeah.
But unlike me, you actually got to see an eclipse because you were out at sea.
I did. Sorry. Well, we were just in the sea.
In the sea.
We were just on the beach, but we just struck it really lucky, and yeah, we did see a little, just very briefly, but we did see the eclipse. Yeah,
And that is very different, isn't it? We heard Palau Bagosh talking there from northern Spain, but it is really different, isn't it?
Yeah, for the total solar eclipse. Yeah, it is. The light level does drop a lot lower, and it does get a lot cooler, and it does feel a bit different, but I think the light level here dropped pretty low, and it did feel a little bit cooler, which was welcome. So, yeah, it was really nice.
I think people watching are going to think there's another eclipse going on. They're actually just taking photographs over in the corner here, because I think it is a moment that people really want to savour, isn't it? They really want to mark that they've been here. You've had a lot of astronomers who volunteer here, but who've come here to inform the public this afternoon, and they've had so many people come through, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they've been absolutely brilliant. So we've had the Flamsteed Astronomical Society. They are incredible. They've done a brilliant job. We've had Josh and Elizabeth up on the roof, who've been streaming the whole eclipse for us to our YouTube channel, and yeah, we've got people all over the shop. So it's been a really lovely shared experience.
And also it's been quite a lengthy process as well, hasn't it? Because it began just after here in London. It began just after 6:15.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm just going to put my glasses on,
Have a
here,
look.
it was ready with you, but I think it is it's not quite over yet. It's still going.
Not quite. Tiny bit left. We're eking it out.
And how important is it, something like this, an experience like this, for you? You know, you're obviously here to educate people about the solar system, about the planets. How much of a difference does it make when we have events like this?
I mean, it makes an enormous difference, because I think it gives a real boost to people's science capital as well, because if they don't have science coming into their lives from many other places, because they're perhaps not necessarily interested in it initially, then something like this, where you might not expect it to come into your world, is really important, because it gives you a little taster of something that perhaps you've never even contemplated you might fall in love with. So for us as astronomers, it's super important, because it opens the whole world of astronomy up to such an enormous audience, and that's what we want to do. We just want to share our love and our passion of it.
Are you going to be one of these people that's going to be chasing the next total eclipse? Now that
Do you know, I think I might now.
You might now.
I think I might start aurora chasing as well. I think I might get,
And we've got the Perseid meteor shower. That's tonight as well. I mean, that's completely unconnected, but that is really worth people looking up to the skies for.
It really is, because it's going to be a new moon, so you're not going to have any light from the moon to kind of disrupt it, and it's just a beautiful natural firework display.
Well, that's wonderful. Liz, thank you so much, and thank you for having us here in your astronomer's garden this evening. Now, one of the first places that got the total eclipse this evening was Iceland, and Adrian Murray is there for us. What was it like?
Well, what an extraordinary experience. We were hoping, of course, that we would be able to see the sun in the sky, see that corona. Fortunately, the weather gods weren't on our side today, and it was pretty much like this, very grey. It's been raining and cloudy all afternoon. But that moment was still extraordinary. I'm stood on the western point of Reykjanes Peninsula, and we could feel it slowly getting darker, and then suddenly it was like it plunged into absolute blackness. I don't think viewers at home could see where I was, but suddenly pitch black, and it was just a really magical, surreal moment. It was quiet. There were a lot of crowds here that turned out anyway, even despite of the bad weather, standing here together on the coast, and it was just a really magical, extraordinary moment. And then as the lights came back quite swiftly, there were cheers around, and even though we couldn't see the sun as the moon was passing across it, it was still some.
And I know you had cloud, but even so, you do really get a sense, don't you, of that darkness as it sweeps across.
Yes, and it was really surreal, otherworldly, to be stood here in this encroachment of darkness, and then it plunged. It was pitch black. I couldn't see the people just stood a couple of yards from me, not a spot of light really. And then we had about a minute 43 of totality where we are on this western point of Iceland. We're one of the few places besides Spain and East Coast Greenland that experienced that. And it was really quite surreal, quite extraordinary, really. And the light came back very quickly. And there was quite a joyous mood, the cheers. And people we spoke to still felt it was one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences. It was otherworldly. It was magical. And people were quite lost for words. And Iceland has actually attracted many people because of this totality that we're experiencing. You know, hotels have been booked out for months. Some people have made their travel arrangements years ago to be here for this moment. So although it was disappointing that, of course, we couldn't see the corona properly, it was still a very special once-in-a-lifetime experience to be here. There was a sort of connectedness, all the people together, and some joy afterwards. There's a bit of a party over there with music playing or people cheering. So really quite extraordinary.
Adrian Murray, thank you so much. Live there from Iceland, and the partial solar eclipse is still going actually here in London. It's very nearly over, but it is still going up there in the sky. So we are going to end now by reliving the experience of something we didn't see here, but they have got in Iceland and they certainly got in Spain, and that is the total solar eclipse. We will leave you now with that eclipse as it happened.
Things are moving very quickly on the ground. It's getting suddenly very cold and very dark. Less than 30 seconds to go. Watch for the flash, watch for the diamond ring, and watch for the shimmering corona.
¿Qué pasará, tío? ¿Para qué te la capacía? ¿Qué pasará? ¿Qué pasará? ¿Quién tiene el móvil? El móvil, oye.
A shimmering pearl hanging in the night sky.
Qué bonito. Aguanta minuto, que aguanta minuto, que no da tiempo.
You may have heard cheers around me.
¿Cómo cojones no miras ahí? ¿Cómo cojones no puedes mirar ahí? Esto es imposible. ¿Qué pasada?
I have to say this is one of the most spectacular eclipses I've seen, low on the horizon. And you can see quite clearly the red eruptions. These are huge nuclear reactions on the face of the sun. You normally don't see them. They're many times the size of the Earth. And the stars are coming out. The planets are visible. And all of a sudden, this is an eerie feeling. Oh, the diamond ring effect, the eclipse is about to end.
Hello, you're watching BBC News, and for once our top story is not about politicians, wars or financial markets. It is about one of nature's greatest spectacles, the cosmic drama of an eclipse, where day briefly becomes night as the moon blots out the sun. Millions of people have been gazing towards the skies just to get a glimpse. Well, the eclipse's path started in Siberia in Russia